Hey everybody, it's X, and welcome back to the Final Fantasy Collector Booster Box Arena Direct. This is our chance to win a Collector Booster Box of Final Fantasy by playing Digital Magic on Arena. It's a 6-pack sealed event, the traditional format where you bust open 6 play boosters of Final Fantasy and build a deck out of only those cards. So very, very high variance, very high risk, but very high reward. And luckily we got that Collector Booster Box out of the way first run, so even if I lose all 6 of the runs that we're going to do here this next week, we're still very far on the money. So just get to play some nice competitive Final Fantasy Sealed. Without further ado, let's bust open the pack, see what we get to play with today. All right, well, this is an insanely unlucky sealed pool for a multitude of reasons. The main one is that each pack in the modern era where we have play boosters can have 1 to 3 rares in it, so opening only 6 rares in sealed is very rare nowadays, so that's a bummer. And then on top of that, if you open only 6 rares in sealed, you really need them all to be playable. Triple Triad is complete garbage in 1v1. So that is really, really rough, but what we do have going for us is 2 colorless rares that are both decently playable. The Regalia and Ultima we can put into literally any deck, or the Regalia, I guess. And then the other rares are good, they're just not going to fit together in the same deck. Unless you've got some good fixing in green, maybe we can go Jund here, red, green, and black with Terra and Kuja in the same deck. But certainly Aerith doesn't automatically go with these other 2 cards. So it's an okay sealed pool, but certainly a bummer to see 6 rares, one of which being just completely unplayable. Looking at our multicolored and our colorless cards here, let's see what kind of fixing we have in colorless. We have none. We have no not Strixhaven stadiums. This is not what we need. We have no blitz balls or world maps. Those are the common colorless pieces mana fixing. None of that is a huge bummer. We do have 1 Crossroads Village at least, which is whatever color you need. You can put it into any deck. We have a tiny bit of dual lands, 1 green-white, 1 green-black, and 1 blue-black. I guess 1 blue-white as well, but yeah, the fixing looks awful here. Unless we are specifically in green, there might be more fixing. What do we see for multicolored cards? Any really powerful cards that tell us to go a certain direction? Potentially Boros. We have both the King of the Dwarfs, which works really well with all the equipment in the format, and Zidane here, which is really nice for an aggressive deck. Finish your opponent off with their own creature. So there's just some pretty nice Boros cards. Really good Golgari card, Cloud of Darkness here in green-black. There's a lot of good self-mill in the set that makes this easily a solid flying threat and a removal spell all in one. Got the very solid Shantaro in blue-red and Lock Cole in blue-black. Got some pretty nice uncommons here, so some different directions to go out of those as well. But let's see each color individually, see how things match up. So checking out the white here, we've got 1 removal spell, and it's the more expensive one, so that's a little awkward. We want to pair this with a color that has really good removal, but what we do have is one of the really powerful Wombo combos, which is Delivery Moogle, 4 mana 3/2 flyer that tutors for any artifact that costs 2 or less, plus Dragoon's Lance, the best 2 mana artifacts in the whole format, at least at uncommon. There might be something better at rare or mythic, but this card's really good. 2 mana 2/1 flyer that you can move that flying around later in the game onto your big late game threats. Dragoon's Lance is really, really awesome. Even White Mage's Staff is quite good, and the White Mage's Staff has good synergies with our Aerith to make her a little bit more playable. White looks pretty decent here despite the lack of removal. Checking out blue now. We've got quite a few cards here. I don't mind this. Lots of decent cheap creatures and some good interaction. The Ice Magic for a bounce spell that becomes removal later. A couple Sleep Magics for really cheap removal. And a Syncopate for late game counterspell. These are all quite nice. It's mostly just a bunch of really solid filler stuff, solid commons and uncommons, so there's no bomb really dragging us into the color or anything. So blue's just pretty good. Checking out our black now. 1 removal spell, the Cornered by Black Mages, and that's it. And then again, it's just all commons and uncommons. I think black's the worst color we've looked at so far, but again, it has reasonable creatures throughout the curve. It's got 1 solid removal spell, good card draw. It's not unplayable, but I think it's worse than our blue and our whites. Checking out our red now. Double Call the Mountain Chopo is really good if we're playing a deck that's trying to get to high mana values. Thunder Magic is solid interaction. It is disappointing Thunder Magic is the only removal spell, because then we've got a lot of really mediocre, close to unplayable cards, although we could play Self-Destruct if we end up playing the Zidane, if we're trying to be really gambly. If we draw that at the same time that we draw the card that lets us steal our opponent's creature, that can play really well. But really, there's not a lot of premium cards here. There's Thunder Magic, a couple Call Them Out and Chocobos can be pretty good. Vaughn can be pretty good. Everybody else is very filler. It's either decent filler, like Barret, Freya, Sandworm, or bad filler, like the Freet, Shopkeep, Haste Magic. It is pretty much as bad as our black. I'm not that into it. And last but hopefully not least, we have green, which is super light on spells in general. Cactuar is super bad in 1v1 sealed. Everything else here is playable, but again, it's pretty much all filler except Saz's Chocobo, which is really nice. Raise a Chocobo can be better than filler if you have a lot of Chocobos in your sealed pool, but we have a grand total of 2. We have the Chocobo this makes and the Saz's Chocobo, so we can literally never flip this. So this is a 2-mana Chocobo, and that's it. Very, very filler green. All right, well, this is going to be a nice 180 from our first run. Obviously, getting the collector box out of the way on the very first run is fantastic, and it makes sealed pools like this hurt a lot less, because I don't think we have any colors that are super solid towards making a really powerful deck. We're going to have to really rely on the power of our best individually powerful cards. None of our colors are super synergistic, super consistent or anything. We could go blue-white and still play Ultima and the Regalia, which is good. Or if we think the rares are powerful enough, we could choose to not play our best 2 colors and instead just play all of the fine filler stuff in like black and red to be able to play like a Kuja deck or something instead. So that's the big question here. We have no fixing out of green somehow, which is insane. So there's no green fixing. There's very few dual lands. There's no blitz balls. There's no world maps. There's just one Crossroads Village and a couple duels to trying to splash in one of these powerful rares, like playing green, black, and red together. Normally something that would be pretty easy to do. You just play green as the core color of your deck and make sure you're playing some of the cards that search for lands, but not a single one of our green cards does anything to help our mana. So I don't think that we can realistically do that. I think that would be the alternate plan, right? If we're not going just blue-white consistency, we go Jund Power. But Jund Power is going to be so inconsistent with this mana base. This sealed pool is not happy to be splashing at all. Yeah, our options are to go, again, for a consistent blue-white deck here, potentially get out power leveled by our opponents, or go for the Jund deck and have a very inconsistent deck where we can lose to mana issues and just curving out with just the mediocre cards, not drawing the rares. Rock in a hard place here. Neither of these builds is particularly likely to go the full 7 wins. But the kind of player I am, I would prefer to just go for consistency. So I think I'm going for the blue-white deck here. We even have like a really consistent mana base there. Get to play the Cid and get to play our best 2 colors. We have some really nice synergistic combos here as well, particularly Delivery Moogle with the Dragoon's Lance, as I was saying. But Cid also has some good work, or does some good work in this deck, because we have some artifact creatures as well as some job select cards that are making hero tokens. So Cid can buff up our Paladin's Arms hero, our Sage's Newless hero, our Staff's hero, our Lance's hero, our Scorpion Sentinel. The amount of artifacts we have also makes the cat pretty good. 3 mana, 3/3 Flying Vigilance is really nice, especially when we have a bunch of equipment to slap onto it. Then it gets absurd. Yeah, this looks like a very reasonable deck here, even if it lacks a bit in the power. Gains a lot with consistency. So we're just going to play all the synergistic 2-drops and then the really good Pixie. Coral is fine, but it doesn't hit any of those blue-white artifact or hero kind of synergies, so if I have to cut anything, it'll be that. And then the big expensive land cyclers. I only really like the green one and the black one. These ones are pretty filler. So cut all those, and we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures still. Definitely can't really cut any more creatures at that point. Although Crystal's Chosen is kind of like our 15th creature at the top of the curve. We could cut some combat tricky stuff like Magic Damper, double You're Not Alone. Running all of those feels a little high. Oh, retrieve the Esper is another creature. Yeah, we've got a very reasonable creature count when you count those. So I'll put those up in the creature curve. 3 cuts. Honestly, cutting these 3 doesn't seem crazy. But I do like just 1 mana +4/+4 is insane. If you have the 3 creatures on board, this is a really nice combat trick. I just don't know if we have room for it, right? We've got like really efficient removal, a good bounce spell, another decent removal spell. We've got the counter. Side quest is really nice. Sets up your draws, and then it's a good flying threat later. Regalia is also obviously incredible. Especially with this many good cheap creatures to crew it up. Our artifact count is at 7. That might be a little bit low for Ash. 7. Looking at the top 5 out of 40. I'm not so sure about that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 creatures. Cut down to 15 creatures if we drop her. That's not crazy. Yeah, I'm not in love with her. Even if she gets the trigger on the first attack, she's just so small, it's really difficult to get multiple attacks in with her, so at best, she's usually just going to draw you 1 card. And obviously, anytime she misses, that's just going to be really bad. 3 mana, 3/2. That's it. Just die on the attack. I guess she's better with the combat tricks, but it's like, well, if I'm cutting the combat tricks, then I'm making her worse here. Yeah, I'll run one of these You're Not Alones, cut the rest. Call it a deck there. I think that's a reasonable little blue-white deck. I'll take another peek at everything, make sure there were no other colorless cards that were any good. Monk's Fist might not be horrible in here with the artifact and hero token synergies, but it's certainly not exciting. I think all of our other 2 mana creatures are just so good I can't really make room for it. Are there enough better? Got enough interaction that we don't want the incredibly inefficient Lunatic Pandora. Definitely don't have a good enough mana base that I want to play a colorless land, although it is cute with Ultima. It will tap for double colorless with Ultima on board, but we've only got 1 card that costs more than 5. So if I ever need to ramp up with Ultima, I can just turn one of our own lands into a colorless one to help get to that. I don't need to be naturally running the in. I guess I've got 1 blue-black duel to try to splash in like a Lock Coal or some black removal. Although our black removal isn't splashable, we got no interventions, no treacheries, we just got the double black cornered by black mages. Not ideal. Yeah, then the blue and the white cards that are left are all very filler. Yeah, I like the deck as it is here. I think we will lock it in. It's kind of funny we end up with the same colors each run, but this is certainly, I think, a much weaker deck here. We're losing a lot on the bomb power level. Our rares in our last deck were much more powerful than the rares in this one. Ultima, Regalia, these are solid creatures on their own, but if your opponent just blows them up the turn you play them, they end up doing literally nothing. A lot of our rares in the last deck were like good card advantage plays where we end up a card even if they get blown up pretty quickly. And then Aerith does not have a lot of synergy in this deck. We've only got a little bit of other life gain, so she's just going to be like a 2/2 lifelinker that keeps making herself bigger if we can get attacks in with her, which will be a little difficult, but I think still worth running and trying to get going. Obviously, if we're really lucky and we get her out at the same time as the White Mage's Staff, she's going to be very powerful. Or if we get her at the same time as like the Dragoon's Lance, giving her flying could be absolutely devastating. There's still some good ways to use Aerith. Plus, she's my favorite character, so I'm not gonna cut her here. So that is gonna be a look at the final build of the deck. We will call it here, hop into the gameplay, and see how it does. Here we are on the draw for game 1. This is a pretty solid Aerith hand because it has a combat trick to go with her. So we can try to get 1 lifelink trigger kind of locked in there. Make sure she survives the first hit and gets the +1/+1 counter. Wow, we have the curve if we can draw lands here. We are on the draw, which helps us do so, but instead draw the second most expensive card in the deck. We have 1 7-mana card and 1 5-mana card, so very awkward to draw the 5-mana card. It's the second worst draw in the whole deck right now. There's Shinra reinforcements to hold off our 2-1, obviously pretty annoying. But we hit the land right on curve. We'll get the Aerith down here. Try to get her rolling here. Snowball-y effect. The more she attacks, the stronger she gets. If we miss a land drop, we're obviously going for an Aerith swing here and getting that rolling in. But if we hit the land, we'll just send in with the Regalia, see if we can't get some lands off the top of our deck. Well, we hit the land drop, so much for Aerith. No longer the plan. More likely to want to block with the 2-1 token than the 2-2 Aerith, I think. Although, tapping Aerith does open them up to attacking with the 1-1. But I think, I don't know. It's more likely. I don't know. I'll hold Aerith up. It's kind of awkward either way. Like, I don't think we're going to end up declaring any blocks if they send anything in. No, I don't have the 2-mana removal. Disgusting. Alright, great opening hand from our opponent. Treachery away the Regalia here. At basically no cost. I mean, they sack a Town Greeter that already drew them a card, and they already have 6 permanents engraved for Cloud of Darkness. Talk about pulling out just an excellent draft deck in the Sealed Arena Direct. I'm going to have to call hacks here. This is ridiculously synergistic from our opponent. I mean, can't do a lot here. We drew the literal worst draw in our deck now. We drew the second worst and then the worst. The 2 very uncastable cards, and there's one of the best rares in the whole set. I think that card is better than all our rares combined. Luckily, we have the counter spell up here. Looking over everything here. Yeah, there's no better play than to do this. I only need to do it for 2, so I can hold up You're Not Alone. Not that that matters, but I can. Sleep Magic. Not super good, but better than nothing here. Yeah, I think we really just wanted the land for Ultima is what we're looking for. Okay, we're down to 11. There's Reach the Horizon to ramp up from our opponent and hit their splash color for any other bombs. No splash color, pure Golgari. There's land 5, so we can drop Ultima here, although I'm worried a Golgari opponent could have plenty of removal. They only have 2 cards left in hand here, so there's a chance Ultima survives. We really don't have a better line. If their removal is like a Cornered by Black Mages, we can just sack the 2-1, but there it is. Sephiroth's Intervention. There's the Wanderings here, hit for 3, 1 card left in their hand. We do still have a chance here since they are pretty much out of cards over there. But if that last card in their hand is, you know, just a big 7-mana creature, we're pretty dead. If I can get 1 more creature on this board, then I can combat trick away the reinforcements, but as it stands, spending a combat trick and my 2-1 to kill it is a pretty bad deal, but we're getting close to having to do that. Down to 5 now. That's frustratingly good here. I wonder when the last time my opponent cast a Heck Dies and I wasn't frustrated was. It's probably a very long time. That's actually so good against this card, because we only have 1 toughness on our creatures. Crystal's Chosen is one of the only ways we're flipping this game back around. I don't think I can discard that. Ice Magic is just bad against Heck Ties. It's okay against reinforcements, but still kind of bad there. But keeping You're Not Alone is such a gamble. Keeping that is just hoping to draw a creature. I have 25 cards left. How many out of those are creatures? Honestly, probably like half of them still. So I've only drawn 5 of my, what, 16? I guess 6 if I counted that. So there's like 10 creatures out of 25. Yeah, this is pretty bad either way. I guess I can Ice Magic for 4 on reinforcements, and they probably just put it on bottom. Yeah, just keep Ice Magic. Okay, that's a 1-1 with no abilities. Man, it sucks that we just drew all our 1 toughness cards, though. You can't make it up. Because we discarded You're Not Alone, there's an exactly 4 mana creature where I would have had the 1 mana up for You're Not Alone in the same turn, but I don't have the mana up for Ice Magic with it. And it's all 1-1s over there except the reinforcements. So if I play a 2 toughness card, they only attack with reinforcements, I go to 2. Oh, I can get the White Mage's Staff here. Probably better than the flying one right now. This thins another non-land card out. What's the graveyard got? Oop. Honestly, a 1/4? This is the world we live in. It's not a happy world. Alright, they're completely playing off the top here. We'll go to 2. Paladin's Arms is the draw. I guess at least it's mana efficient with our other cards. Poke 3. Paladin's Arms. And Scorpion Sentinel for the reinforcements. They draw. They need double removal. Double removal doesn't even kill us. Oh, the shoot buff? So now every draw in their deck is good, including lands, to buff the board, making the reinforcements 5. Toughness is annoying here. We'll have to just trade now. And then the shoot buff is also a 7/7 we have to deal with. Yeah. Oh, that shoot buff is devastating. This is 7. This is 8 mana to fully deal with the shoot buff. Aye. These are 3 to equip. 3 or more. I can't equip any of these and deal with the shoot buff in the same turn. So I can't equip anything. Okay, I mean, they're down to 13. If they top deck a land and I top deck a land, I think we actually win this. I guess I got Ice Magic. Okay, never mind. I was going to say in response to that, but it didn't let me. I guess I had to go full control mode. Like, because this should resolve and then I should get an opportunity to deal with it once it's a creature. That's good to know for the future. It doesn't matter too much here since they just drew a land. One man away from Sentinel eating their creature without even dying. But I don't think these extra creatures matter too much. I think I just need to lower their board so they have less things to put shoot buff counters onto. Okay, so they did hit a land. Do we also hit a land? If we do, again, I think we win this. They put that on the bottom. They must have some bombs in their deck. Looking for. Honestly, even without the Crystal Chosen mana, we now have a chance of winning. There's card collection. I don't have the mana to play this and equip here. If I play this, I will have 8 cards engraved, though, so that'll be 7 power in the sky. Is there any way to 2-turn kill them? I hit for 3 now. I don't think I can send in Sentinel. That feels risky. I guess if I draw a land off of card collection, I can make Sentinel 4/4, and they have to top deck immediate lethal, or because I hit them for 7, they're just dead in 2 swings. That's probably the best play. And then, yeah, if I hit a land I Nulis and I actually hold a blocker up, perfect. Oh my god, perfect. I'm actually ditching Lance here and keeping Crystals Chosen. If things go wrong and we don't lethal them next swing, being able to play a million blockers is huge. Okay. They're going completely off the top here. And I've got a blocker here that can block even through a removal spell. X death for the gain 3. They're at 8, but they still die to 8 damage in the sky, do they not? 8 damage in the sky is going to do it here. And no reach over there. Might as well make it extra, but there's the concession from our opponent. Oh my god. I didn't see any shot of victory there. Taking a lot of damage early. Ooh, they milled an Adamantoise and a Fat Chocobo early. That's good for us. Ooh, yeah, they had a really synergistic, really premium start, but then they started hitting some stuff that was really awkward. I mean, the Summoner's Grimoire was awful for our opponent. They hit just a 4-mana 1/1 as one of their draws, because by the time they drew it, they already had the mana to play anything they drew into. So the Summoner's Grimoire being so bad in that circumstance was a huge way that we helped stabilize there, because we ended that game at 2 life. If this was like a 4-mana 4/4, we'd probably just die. So huge underperformer to Summoner's Grimoire. I think that's really the only card we saw from our opponent that ended up being particularly bad here. Everything else was like super synergistic, really getting going here. Having the counterspell at the right time for Saws was excellent. We were super dead if we didn't. Close stuff there. One thing definitely to learn for the future, I think it was just too greedy to keep the Crystals Chosen. We had a safer game there if I had ditched that. And we just kept the cheap spells. Like, I was really, really like, this is like one of the only ways we could really stabilize, but I guess if they drew really poorly and just hit like 4-mana 1/1s and stuff, then yeah, just the combat trick would have helped us stabilize enough that we should have ditched the Chosen. It didn't get cast till we already won the game, so there was still a learning moment there as well. We definitely did some misplays of our own. Really, the one misplay was our Hectize discard being pretty bad. We should have definitely ditched the 7-drop, but get the win anyway in the end. Incredibly close game, but we start things off 1-0. All right, solid opening hand here on the play. Certainly a little slow, no creatures till turn 3, but that's fine on the play. The cheap sleep magic helps a lot if they have their own scary cheap threat. Delivery Moogle is going to be incredible here, as it always is. Get the 3/2 flyer, get the 2/1 flyer off of the enter trigger. And then we can move the equipment onto Aerith, which is really good. Our opponent takes 2 mulligans. So they're probably like a splashy 3-color deck, or they just got really unlucky. And they start with Crossroads Village, which does lead itself to the theory of them playing a lot of colors and just drawing the wrong colors in their first couple hands. Oh yeah, green, blue, and red. So they get punished by their mana base a little bit to start this game. If I cast the cat, that's the most guaranteed way to get some damage in here. But I think I'm just going to sleep magic this Death Toucher. So I'm going to roll out with Aerith here, because there's a lot of these green splashy decks that will spend turn 3 just getting another mana, playing the Wanderings that searches for a land out of their deck. And if they do that by sleep magicking the Ochu, I get the Aerith rolling, start getting these life totals really in our favor. So tap land, another Ochu. Well, that's pretty annoying. At least I get one Aerith swing in here, it looks like, since they attacked with the other one. Miss a land draw, so if I'm playing sleep magic, that's all I'm playing for the turn. Feels kind of bad. Yeah, we'll go mana efficiency, no Aerith attack, just drop a cat, start poking for 1 a turn, because nobody else is getting through these Death Touchers. Might have to just accept Aerith trading into 1. But I could just go all flying all day, right? We have the cat, and then we have the Moogle that can send other things into the sky once we grab the Dragoon's Lance. Wow, this is aggressive against a lifelinker. Come on, any land off the top of our deck so I can Sleep Magic send all. Let's go. Perfect. Sorry, Delivery Moogle. I've got funner plans for myself right now. Get Aerith rolling and get 1/2 the artifacts I need for the cat down. Boom. Now, if we draw any other legends, if Aerith does trade into a Death Toucher, we get a counter on all our legends at the same time, which is cool. What is this deck? 4 Death Touchers in a row? But I want to attack, opponent. I don't want to trade my creatures off. What are you doing? Removal spell this flying Death Toucher? I would like to do that before they can just sack this to draw a card, because it's already dead anyway. So doing this before they untap feels good. I think we have to do 5 mana removal here to shut this thing off. Unless they trade it into the 3/2. Trading into the 3/2 would be very acceptable. But we're probably just killing an Ochu with this, which is also fine. Yeah. Alright, I gotta kill this before they draw cards off of it. Make sure I can actually get some flying damage going with my cat. If we hit a land, I'll go Moogle plus the artifact. If we don't, we retrieve the Esper to make sure the cat's ready to go. And Sleep Magic, as the draw is fantastic. I do have to play these both pre-combat. Sleep Magic so Aerith can attack and retrieve the Esper so the cat hits for 2 more damage. What a draw. Perfectly mana efficient here. Jam 6. Removal spell? Sure, kill the cat. They had the chance for the flavor win, and they didn't take it. I can respect it, though. I'm happy Aerith remains. Marlboro! That's so good here, it's not even funny. Kill my Moogle. That's okay, Aerith still wins this game. Do that over playing the Pixie. Yeah, Aerith is going so crazy right now. This is the actual dream. Mega large Aerith with Ward. All they can do is chump. There's the land to retrieve the Esper again. Probably better than just the 2/1 flyer here. Go wide since they have no blockers out. Pixie's a lot easier to cast alongside another spell as well if I draw another spell. Ultimecia. You can chump block Aerith and take 8, go to 2 life. Yeah, Ultimecia is not going to do it. Chump blocking Aerith is the only way they don't immediately die. We can probably just lethal them. If I move Paladin's Arms to the 3/3, all my creatures have at least 5 power. They block one of them and then take 10 from everybody else, right? Yeah. We just have lethal this turn. Paladin's Arms MVP, but honestly, Aerith MVP this game. That is going to be 2-0 heading into game 3. Here we are for game 3. Mono wide opener is awkward, but we got a 1/2 curve, 3 mana removal on the defensive, 1 island drawn and everything's castable. It's awkward, but I'm going to keep it here for the 1/2 punch. Getting an aggressive starting curve here. That's an Ether Drift land. I'm like, what is going on? They're in a car over there. Yeah, that's what Ether Drift was about. White Mage's Staff is the play turn 2. We did hit the island immediately, which makes this hand so safe. It worked really, really well. Very lucky draw to start us off immediately finding blue. There's Ride the Shootbuff to get counters all over their board every time they play a land. Keep our curve going. It's not the most aggressive in the world because the Scorpion Tunnel is just a 1/4, but we do get to play a creature on all of the first 4 turns of the game, which is still solid stuff. Playing against Natural Jund, there's the 3/3 Trample Haste here, which they might just hold up as a blocker. Yeah, because they can't get through the Sentinel anyway, sure. Here's my 3/3 pass. Blue source. 4 colors from opponent here, so they're just going to be playing every rare in their sealed pool. Clash the Icons, sure. Removal Speller 3/3, you got it. Pass from there. Now they've got a 4 toughness blocker, that's pretty annoying. 5 out of 7 lands for Sentinel, it's going to be a while. So that's big enough, but even if we put all the equipment on the 2/2, it's just a 3/2, which is still not big enough to be that relevant. So I think I'm making the Sentinel a 2/5 here. If I make Sentinel a 2/5, all they need to do is play a land, and then they have a 5/5, and they can still attack, so maybe it's better to make it a 2/4, so that if they do attack, I get to attack and still hold up the blocker. I could also just hold up the Fate, but that doesn't matter unless they declare an attack, and I think if they do, I'm happy to just take it here. Five, sure. And they don't declare the attack anyway. Now I can play a Pixie and hold up the Fate. Or I could just cast the Fate right now. It is any non-land permanent. But the token that has a Katana on it is a 3/3 without a Katana already. So I think I have to kill the creature itself rather than the equipment. I could kill the Shoe Puff. Because that's going to be a 7/7 soon enough, and it's going to keep making the board bigger. That was probably a better way to spend last turn. This way they've ended up getting another counter they wouldn't have necessarily gotten. But now that I've drawn a Pixie, getting a flyer down is relevant. I think I should kill the Shoe Puff. I should have just killed it last turn. But I kind of was treating the Fate as just creature removal. Easy to forget its ability to destroy any non-land permanent. But they could have 1 less +1/+1 counter on this board. That would have played a lot better. Man, yeah, that was a huge miss. Play that a turn earlier, and then this turn gets to be the Pixie and equip the Pixie. That would have been much, much better. Okay, if they have any removal spell in their hand, we're going to lose bad. Because this turns it into 2 removal spells next turn. And then if they have another one, they triple it on turn 3. Cerberus is a nightmare with good instants and sorceries. They are in a spot where they have to top deck another instant or sorcery to get a max value, though. They could kill my 2/2 and my 1/1 or my 2/4 and my 1/1 if I kill the 5/5. If I kill the 4/3, they only kill the 2/4. Unless their last card in hand is a combat trick, and if the last card in their hand is a combat trick, that makes this Cerberus really bad. I'm a little on the defensive here. I'm not in love with this Regalia. Still probably better than Pixie. The 5/5 beaten down. This is not going to stop that. It's going to ramp us towards multi-spelling in the future. Yeah, this was a big punt of a game. Because just having the Pixie out with the equipment affects the game so much, and we would have had that had we spent the removal on Shoe Puff that 1 turn earlier. It's so much easier to Regalia if I keep getting Pixie damage in at this rate. Yeah, there's no way to make good blockers. I have to just Regalia here. I guess in theory I could go crew block with 6 power and toughness, but they could just put the sword on it, and then I can't do that anyway, and if they have any removal, then it's obviously miserable. We do hit the land. Beautiful hit. Oh, it automatically hits the land every time no matter what, right? Until you reveal a land, yeah. So no matter what, you get lands off of it. then that's definitely the play this turn. See if they have the instant or sorcery to double with that Cerberus. Equip the Cerberus. Feels really weird to equip the Cerberus here, because the Cerberus is going to sacrifice itself next turn, so... And this one has trample anyway, so they just get to pay one time and forever have that buff. Taking 8 on the crackback next turn. Way to get good blockers here. Just gonna play 1/5/5. I think we win this race if I just had that Pixie turn earlier, which I would have if I had the removal turn earlier. The full punt for maybe the loss here, because they're gonna triple spell us now. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, triple reach the horizons doesn't actually do anything actively. And if they attack here, if their last card in hand is a land, they're dead on board if they attack. And now they've tapped out of equipping the sword because they wanted to get the spell value. If the game goes long, pulling 6 lands out of their deck, that does a lot. Because now they're way less likely to draw lands than we are. And they have the mana for anything they draw into. But if the game doesn't go long, this doesn't impact the board at all. There's an Ignis. Ignis allows them to hit us here, but if they do, I can trade. Since, again, they didn't equip. Okay. Okay, it's anyone's game. I think they're slightly favored because they just ripped almost every land out of their deck. But we have some good stuff going for us here. We can start hitting for 4 in the sky every turn. I don't get to do that right now, but I get to do it real soon. I only need 2 mana up for this Pixie. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I can spend 7 mana however I want. It's 3 to equip. So we can equip 2 things here. So I can go like staff here, crew. I'm gonna Pixie pre-combat because I'm not gonna want to block with Pixie, but I'm okay to chump block with a 1/1. So crew with the Pixie instead, and then Nulis on that. Send. Untap the 6/6, so if they don't take that trade, I've got the block up. They have to at least chomp. They're going to trade with the Regalia instead of the 6/6. Pretty happy with that. I would have been less happy to see a double block on the 6/6 here. Sure, they go to 4. That puts them dead to Pixie. I mean, Ignis can make a food and eat it, so I guess not quite. So they're playing off the top, but it's very unlikely for them to draw a land. But as long as they don't draw a flyer or a removal spell, Pixie can put in some work. The shoot buff is scary. Oh my god, they have the mana to make the 7/7 give it haste with Katana because they have like every land of their deck on the board because they triple reach the horizon. A hasty shoot buff doesn't kill us. If they don't hold up the mana to get a food with Ignis, they're dead in the sky. That is exactly the mana they need to make a food and eat it with Ignis. That 5 mana up there. They equip this Katana, it's over. Close game. Close game. No reach from our opponent, though, means we know the plan. Hit for 4 in the sky. They didn't hold the mana up to eat a food. Jam. Once again, some misplays here to learn from for the future. Really, really important to keep in mind that the Fate of the Sun Crest can blow up non-creature cards. We should have spent the Fate of the Sun Crest a turn earlier on killing Brides of Shoot buff. They would have had one less +1/+1 counter on their board, and because we'd have tapped out the 5 mana we needed to do that a turn sooner, that would have opened us up to playing this Pixie way earlier than it ended up being on the board this game. That's the part that was really, really important, more so than the +1/+1 counter, because it took us quite a long time to then play the Pixie later, because we kept drawing things like the Regalia, stuff like that we were spending our mana on, playing the 5/5 robot and stuff. So they would have died way earlier this game had we curved out correctly and blown up Rides Your Shoot buff on turn 5 instead of turn 6. Instead, we spent turn 5 just like randomly putting one equipment on our 2/4. Like, that was really a really mediocre use of mana that turn. And just one single misplay on one single turn of curving out incorrectly, doing the wrong thing with your mana, this game really shows how much that can stack up over the course of a long game. Magic's a complex game. One improper curve out, one improper play changes the course of the game so much, again, because the Pixie would have been out like 3 or 4 turns earlier at that point. It changed the ending of this game by like 8 or 10 damage or something. Like, insane how much that incorrect curve out came back to haunt us. But it was good to get out of the way in a game where somehow it didn't matter in the end. We actually do still find lethal there, and we're 3-0. We are guaranteed to get some of our gems back out of this event, and if we can win just one more, we are breaking even. It is 8,000 gems to play this event. Well, if you get 4 wins, you get 7,200 gems and 16 packs of Final Fantasy on Arena. So if you value those packs at however much they sell them for in the store, then you're technically in the money at 4 wins. However, if you value those packs at just the 20 gems per rare that you get, you're a little bit below the break-even point here. And that's how I value them, because I don't really have any problems collecting the whole set. It's more about just getting my gems back. So these 16 packs are worth about 20 gems a piece for me. So not quite technically break-even, but really close, much like a 4-3 in a Premier draft. So we're 1 win away from that, and from then on, we're very far in the money. So see if we can't get at least a couple more wins this run to make it nice and easy to play some more of these runs. Don't have to put any more money into Arena, although because we got the Collector Booster Box on the first try, it would be impossible to play enough of these runs to where I would be at a net negative. I can't be anything but positive here because I got the Collector Booster Box on the first run. If I play all 6 of these runs and get 0 gems back, that's cost me like $200 to get a $1,000 Collector Booster Box. That's still in the money. Or like $200 to get like $450, I think, is what they send you if they run out of boxes. But if they don't send me a Final Fantasy Collector Booster Box, I'm going to lose my mind, because I won the booster box literally as soon as possible, because I played as soon as the timer went down and the event started. So, but there's a backup plan. If they run out of boxes, you still get some monies. 455, I think, is the money this time around. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 4, and this is our most awkward hand so far. There's only 2 castable spells. If I hit a white source, it's obviously pretty good. That Aerith can go a long way by herself. With a new Honor could be good. We have the Syncopate to interact with their turn 3 play, I guess, no matter what we draw, but this feels really, really risky here. If we don't hit the white source, we're dead in the water, and I'm not doing a lot until then. Last time we kept a monocolored hand, at least I had like a really solid curve out, even if we didn't hit the second color for a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this one. This is much safer, but we're gonna start the game down a card, which is never fun. I'm gonna go full curve out with this one. Pixie, Aerith, Regalia. We'll see how it plays out for us. There's land 4, so we know we can cast all these. Golgari from our opponent. There's the Undercity Dire Rat, which is not going to be getting any treasure anytime soon, because I'm just going to be poking them in the sky. Normally gets a treasure when it dies. Goo Gardener, they are ramping up. That is scary. That's sketchy. We have no other life gain on this board, so I'm okay to play Paladin's Arms, a card that I'm much more happy to trade off early in the game than an Aerith right now. I'll keep an Ultima on top. I've already got the 5 mana I need to cast it, even if we wouldn't be ramping with Regalia. Go all flyers all day. It's 2-1 Pixie, then the 4-4 Ultima. They play any splash color, Ultima can shut it off. There's X-Death to gain some life that makes the race a lot harder for us. No attacks from our opponent. They want to hold off a better blocker for our 3-2 than the X-Death. So Regalia is a 4-4. Honestly, trading Regalia into X-Death is not that bad because it gives us a land when we send it. So they can block with X-Death and Dire Rat. I kill one of the two. Obviously, I choose to kill X-Death. If they block with Gardener Dire Rat, they don't kill Regalia, so their only option is to let me kill X-Death. I think this is worth it. We're up a card because we get a land and kill one of their creatures. Regalia first because it's going to like dig through our deck here, but then Surveil after that triggers. Keep the removal. Yeah, so they're going to kill Regalia. We'll kill the 3-3. Slight trade down, but again, we end up a land. Which is likely to be relevant at some point with a 4-mana equip ability at worst coming into play at some point. Cloud of Darkness, that's annoying, because Pixie only has 1 toughness. The mythic uncommon of the set, probably the best of the signpost uncommons. Well, there goes one removal spell. I guess we see if they can deal with a 4-4 flyer now. Well, I was going to say if they couldn't deal with this, we could start shutting off their black sources so they can't cast any double black cards, but they just drew the 3rd black source, so shutting off mana is not going to be particularly relevant right now. They have 3 green sources and 3 black sources. That's a thing we can do. There's our target for our removal spell. Unfortunately, I don't have the mana to kill it and swing here. I guess even if I did, I'd just be trading into the rats, so we're just going to play Aerith, send an Ultima pass. I could instead put Paladin's Arms on Ultima, but then our blocks are a lot worse on the non-T-Rex cards. See, no Aerith on board is a bummer. Yeah, we'll do a little less damage just to get Ultima going. I guess if I Ultima one of my lands, but I've got 7 mana, that would make me have 8 mana. 8 mana is enough to spend 5 on the Fate and 3 on the Aerith. So then I could kill T-Rex R on attacks. But then again, I just trade into the rat. That's not even that good. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to shut off one of their lands here. Play Aerith and the Fate. There are double green cards like T-Rex are. There's triple green cards at Mythic. Black has double black removal spells. Kind of want to try to shut them off black first here, because I'm most worried about removal spells over anything else. It is going to take several swings to actually get them off the color of mana, so it's not likely to be relevant, but if it's going to be relevant, black mana would be more important. Marlboro! Oh my god, that sucks. They'll make me discard a card before I kill the T-Rex. Yikes, yeah, that would have been the reason to ultimate one of our lands. Ah, well, goodbye, Gooboo. That's brutal. Yeah, gotta play around that discard, I guess. Should have ultimated one of our lands. Again, because of how unlikely it was to be relevant, their mana for a while. Seven, 8, 9 here. I need to top deck removal or I'm super losing now. Well, we found our one misplay of this game. It's happened in every single game so far, so we might still win. Because we've won every other game we made a big misplay like that. So I could take 7, go to 7 if I trade Aerith off right now. But they're at 15. And I'm not going to have surviving blocks here. I have to top deck something or this game's over, no matter how I play it. I probably have to trade this off, and then I can equip Aerith for more life gain. We'll see. Delivery Moogle. 5 life. They've got 6 trample over there. Can chump with Moogle. Chumping with Aerith makes us not dead. Moogle can find a 2-mana 4/4. That's actually incredibly relevant here. So Moogle for the 2-mana 4/4. Pretty significant blockers being held up. 2-mana 4/4. Nothing else to do with my mana after that. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the sky next turn. I can't lethal them in 2 swings, though, if I make that play. If I grab the 2/1 flyer, I could lethal them in 2 swings, but I'm so unlikely to survive to that. I think I need the 4/4. Yeah, I need the 4/4. Is it in my grave? It is not in my grave. Search library. 4/4. Play it. I could hold here. I might have to. Having a rough time against removal, but now they have a treasure token as well, so Ultima shutting off a land is doing very little for us. I've got the flyer to block that. So I've got a flyer here. Chomp here. I think 1 removal spell doesn't quite kill us still. Because of the gain 2? Well, I guess it does, because they can do 1 removal spell on the flyer. Then I block T-Rex with a 4/4. I take 2 trample there. I essentially take 5. Put the 2/2 lifelinker on the 4/4. I gain 2, so I'm at 7, take 5. Okay, that's not quite dead. So they're going to removal spell whatever's blocking the T-Rex to trample over all that damage. So I die to instant speed removal on what's trampling the T-Rex. No, I don't. I don't quite die. I only die to double removal. If they removal spell Sentinel, and I get trampled for 6, I gain 2, so I'm at 7, take 6, and I'm alive. So it has to be double removal to kill me. Okay. I guess 1 removal spell still just kills Ultima then. Wins off that. Oh, yay. Double Cloud of Darkness pool seems strong, and land seems weak. Alright, well, this punt did cost us. If I had the mana up by ultimating our own land to kill the T-Rexar in response to their pre-combat discard spell, we would have taken way less damage from the T-Rex. Because they drew into a second Cloud of Darkness, though, we were still really unlikely to win that. But we would have had way more time, taken like 12 less damage. I guess just 6 less damage, really. Because they didn't technically hit us at all here. And then I could have kept these creatures around trying to get a swing. Well, not all of them. Because Cloud of Darkness is absurd. Yeah, potentially winnable there, if we just gave ourselves the mana. 3-1 it is, heading into game number 5. Alright, here we are on the play for game a lot. We're 3-1 right now, so no matter what, a positive record, and we get to keep some gems out of this run. But we'd really love to win at least one more game to get pretty much all of our gems back. And obviously, if we can get on a win streak here, to get a 7-win run, get another collector booster box, that would be incredible. Solid start here. Our opponent's playing nothing, so we get a free swing in for 2, and we get to play an Aerith with a combat trick up so that they can't block her well. So we get at least 1 counter on her if they don't just removal spell. Okay, this looks pretty nice. We've also got a Zac to play against removal if we hit another white source. If we don't hit another white source, though, I kind of have to just combat trick here, and I'd rather play the Nulith's pre-combat, so I can +4/+4 on the trick and gain like 1,000,000 life if they go for the block here. Alright, we gain much more life by having 3 creatures out than just the 2. Cool. The one unfortunate thing without hitting the next white source is I also don't have another legend on board, so if Aerith dies, nobody's getting +1/+1 counters. But let's not talk about that. Aerith never dies. That doesn't happen. Another Fenrir. The double premium uncommon sealed pool back at it again. Fenrir's really good in sealed too. All of the mana fixing to splash into good bombs. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Here's Zach to protect Aerith here. They've got a 2-mana instant up. They could have Vane's Treachery, which gets around Zach no matter what, but especially if I send the attack here with Aerith, and then they block and I try to Zach, then they just respond with Treachery. I still kill the Fenrir and the Treachery, so it's not like the worst thing in the universe. I could also just let Aerith die, because now Zach gets the +1/+1 counters, period. We get to push extra damage and keep Fenrir off the board. That's probably worth it. As depressing as it is, we just let her die and keep a +1/+1 counter. Million bajillion mana. Here's Ignis to get even more. 1,000,000,000,000 mana now. Trillion gazillion. That is not the mana I need to get that blocker out of the way, so we send in the squad. At least the 2/3 doesn't get blocked well. Syncopate's a good draw if they have a big high mana value bomb rare like a Sin. That's a 7 mana. Super deadly card. Got 2 cards in grave. I could draw 3, discard 2, but then I don't have the counter up. And I would still be a very long way away from casting the thing. Or flipping the thing. Syncopate on the 9 mana Oops I Win card feels pretty good. Feels pretty great. Drawing a 5-drop with 4 lands on board does not. Okay, now I'm in the market to side quest, discard 2 non-lands, keep the land to play it. Put them to 4 here. What the heck? All flyers all day, I guess. I guess I discard the 5 mana flyer at this rate. Because Moogle's honestly better. And the cat's a 3 mana 3/3 flying vigilance. I can play that if I don't draw land and still have Zach up, which is huge. No way I can ditch the removal spell when they have infinite mana here. They can play a gigantic blocker very soon. We saw them try to play just an incredible 9 mana mythic last turn. As long as they don't double super bomb us, we're in a really good spot. Fang is not a super bomb, but Fang is good with Graveyard Recursion. You can draw cards. We hit the land, but it is one of our tap lands, so that's awkward. I can't attack into Fang unless I move an equipment on a Zach, and then I don't have the mana to play anybody else. So Delivery Moogle to be mana efficient, that's a one-shot kill as well. Or is it play the cat, which is also a one-shot kill, but I can protect it with Zach? I think it's the cat, because it's still going to kill them in one swing. But also I have the mana to protect it. And play around removal here. They got the counter spell, they counter either one. Okay. Pass. You're gonna need double removal here. Sephiroth's intervention is 1 removal. Where's removal 2? Draw for turn. Thrasios is not removal number 2, so they scry and draw a card. Scry to the bottom, draw. Bane's Treachery, which is removal 2. Pretty good work, Thrasios. You're pretty fair and sealed. At least they have to sacrifice a creature to use that. So they get rid of Fang and they only have Thrasios left. I blow up Thrasios, hit them for 2. Oh, they're going to Deadly Dispute here? Oh my god, their last card in hand was Deadly Dispute, so they also get to draw cards and then sack the treasure instead. Yeah, that's really good, but the play remains the same. We have to kill Thrasios before they draw any other cards off of it, or that's going to be devastating. This also lets me flip the side quest, which is incredible. So now they're dead to 1 flying magic card hit. Even if they wipe all of our creatures, play 2 more off Delivery Moogle and crew the card with one of them. They're escorted by black mages to wipe all our creatures. Dire Rat is not a flyer. 1 last card in their hand has got to be instant speed removal to blow up our magic card. And there's the concession from our opponent. It is not instant speed removal to blow up the magic card, so we are 4-2 if we or 4-1. I didn't lose my second loss yet, I swear, Arena. Don't kick me out. We're 4-1, which means a very positive record. And even if we lose our second game now, we pretty much have all the gems we need for another run. Feels great, but we'll see how far we can take it here as we head into round number 6. All right, here we are for round 6. Another mono-white hand curving out, 1-drop, 2-drop, get the swings in. We find 1 blue source, and this is unbeatable. We don't find a blue source, and we can't win. It is a gamble. But again, it has really relevant plays on 1 and 2. I think I keep the mono-white 1-color hands, and don't keep the mono-blue ones. That seems to be the case. Although, if I had 2 islands instead of 2 planes here, I think this hand would be even better. It would be actually incredible. Worst draw on the whole deck. Let's go. 7-drop in the opening hand. Absolutely not when you want to draw it. Let's see if we can go runner and hit the second worst draw on the whole deck, the 5-mana card. The 1 5-mana card. Oh, let's go! We call that complaint equity, baby. Magic Arena hates me. .exe. What are the odds of hitting the 2 most expensive cards in the entire deck as the first 2 draws of the game, keeping a 2-lander? They're pretty low. Land 3 from our opponent. Rufus Shinra. Nightmare Fuel levels of powerful. 2-4 that spits out a 2-2 for free every turn. There's absolutely nothing I can do about that. We find a 3rd plains before first island. We're on equal numbers of each. Because we have 2 tap lands in this deck, Jesus Christ. Now a Gaius that's completely one-sided. They don't have to sacrifice anything. Anyways, because we have 2 essentially duels in this deck, we have like 10 blue sources. We have 10 of each. We have the duel and then the tap land. We choose whatever color. So what now? 7 power on their board? Good lord. Yeah, that Gaius was incredible. I'm going to play 1 spell here. If we shut off the Shinra, could trade into the 2-2 or kill the 2-2 with other cards later. I probably have to just play the Pixie here and draw, scry towards relevant draws every turn. If we can like get the ultimate mana, or Ultima mana immediately and then ramp into Crystal's Chosen, that's a way to potentially stabilize. We're going to have to do it quick, because they have a really wide board. But 12 already. Speaking of a wide board, spit out another creature every turn. Regalia is horrible on the defensive like this. I'm not seeing a path to victory here. And it's certainly not by drawing yet another non-land, so surveil that to the grave. The queen is a minimum of 2 damage. I think I need to sleep magic her. If they prowess trigger, that's 3 damage, which is as much as their biggest creature, and she's spitting out a black wizard every time she attacks, which gets a bunch of ping damage, so even if I had infinite blockers, I couldn't survive that. Speaking of not surviving, Albed Salvagers to make me lose life every time a creature dies is incredibly deadly. Dragoon's Lance to fly over in the late game is just an incredible opener from our opponent and a pretty bad one from us. That's all it takes. That's going to lock us out. I don't think we can survive this turn at 6. I can block 2 things and lose 2 life for blocking those 2 things. So block there, lose 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's if I play Ultima and pass. That's dead. If I attack with Pixie, I have 1 blocker up and I'm super dead even at 7. Yeah, no, that's incredibly dead. All right, all I could have really done was mulliganed to be down a card, and then I'm down a card against an incredible opener, which is also pretty dang deadly. I think the biggest opportunity to potentially turn things around would have been our first loss. Had we had the mana up for the removal there against the T-Rex before they made us discard our card, we would have been in a much better spot. Yeah, needed to play around a discard spell and didn't there and got punished hard for it. That was the biggest opportunity to turn things around, but a 4-2 run is still really nice, especially considering the sealed pool was pretty mediocre. I mean, when we looked at it, we were like, yeah, very little bomb power. Regalia and Ultima are decent, but they're not really bombs, and that's it for really powerful spells here. I mean, I guess Aerith, but again, without the synergy to go with her, she's decent, not like a super bomby bomb. Certainly much less than what you tend to see from bomb rares in the set, like Genova and Saz and Vanat. There's a bunch of stuff that's way better than these cards, so a pretty mediocre sealed pool. We found the best 2 most synergistic colors that make this deck look pretty reasonable. But the reason the deck looks pretty reasonable is because we're playing the 2 colors that are best and most synergistic by far. Any other deck would have looked, I think, pretty mediocre here with the power level of the pool. So 4-2, it is still a very respectable record, I think, even if we might have been able to pull out another win with perfect plays. So that is 4-2, very positive record in a very competitive event. We take those 7,200 packs. I wish. 7,200 gems and 16 packs is the prize out today. But that's going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, check out the Twitch channel and the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.